Now, let's launch into what is one of my favorite webinars. We're going to talk about customer loyalty. We're going to talk about building advocates, people who talk about your business in a positive way, like a free marketing team, about how to get people to come back and buy again, because it's actually 2/3 cheaper to sell to a repeat customer than it is to buy in new ones. That customer acquisition costs 67, 68% higher than you're selling to your existing customers. So let's find a nice cheap way of building cash flow. Let's make things happen. All right. Now, these are the basics. All right, we're going to run through this for about 45 minutes. If you want people to buy from you again and again and again, and to talk about you positively, there's three things you need to do. You need to do more. You need to do more than your competitors. You need to be better than just good, because everybody expects good service. Everybody expects a good product. It's their minimum expectation. It's their right. It's what they should get. And your competitors do that as well. So if you do that, you're not doing anything different from anybody else. You need to have a compelling reason for people to buy from you again. You need to exceed their expectations. Okay, it's as simple as that. If you want them to come back again, exceed their expectations, because people, again, and this number, this 67% odd comes up again and again in relation to repeat buyers. They will buy 67% more second, third, fourth time around. Okay, you want to win their hearts. We're going to spend 9 minutes. It's going to be 40 minutes going through this about how we can get them to come back. And it's not about the money. Okay, as I said yesterday, if you tuned into that one, it's about changing the way you do things. It's about attitude. It's about process, about getting outside the box, being a little different, and getting rid of that vanilla cookie cutter approach. All right. Now, warning, there are a couple of things in here where I want you to spend a few dollars if you so desire. But it's not major expenditure. It's just a few little tricks and tips that I've picked up along. So here's the theme of the day: be a penguin in a duck. Business world's full of ducks. You look at a duck pond, all you see is ducks. You want to be the penguin. You want to stand out for all the right reasons. Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. Now, as I said, vanilla. Don't be vanilla. It's a milkshake flavour. It's ice cream. Really. You want to talk about you. You want to change little habits, little improvements, the way you talk with your customers, your uniforms. I think a uniform onesie for everybody's probably not going to work, but don't be afraid to make your uniforms different. Jazz it up a little bit, make it so that people walk in and, in a non-offensive way, it's memorable. Okay, it lightens the day up a little bit. Your store layout, and it's not just your physical store layout, it's your online store layout. Is it easy to do business with you? You walk into your store cold, you walk in as a customer, and you think about it as a customer. How easy is it to do business with you? Client education. Do you provide client education? I'll go on about this a couple of times down the track. It's a powerful tool. Okay? After sales support, powerful tool number two. Okay? You look at your competitors and you see how many of them are not doing client education, how many of them are not providing genuine after sales support. And not after sales support in terms of warranty claims or doesn't quite do what it does. I mean, in terms of genuine follow-up to make sure that your solution actually fixes the problem. It's all about solution. And as I said, it's just small changes. Having some courage, have a crack and see how it works. The number one thing is understand the business you're in, what it is that you really deliver to the customer. And the example I've got there on the slide is one of my clients, where we're sitting down talking about how we can improve bookings, how we can improve turnover, how we can basically make money out of it. And it just clicked with us is that she's not in the business of cutting hair and doing color and curls and stuff. That's not what she does. She's in the business of it. And once we aligned everything with that, the whole point of the business is to make people feel like $1 million when they walk in the door. Once we got aligned with that, oh my goodness, the place went berserk. And it wasn't just the fact that seats were always full. It was the product sales. It was the accessory sales from people outside the business putting stuff in on commission. What she approaching it, can we stock our product with you? Because she was just going ballistic, new staff, right, to cope with the demand. Simply, one simple thing is that she understood the business, she finally understood the business she was in, it clicked and everything aligned with it. Everything. Magic. So have a look at what you're in, have a look at what it is that you're doing, and get that alignment, because that in itself, that small change is nothing. Now, value your customers. I will say this again and again and again this morning. Value your customers because they're gold. Okay? That figure I've got there on the screen about market research showing that 70% of customers feel undervalued. I read another story on customer retention yesterday, and the same number came up, was 69% yesterday, feel they're undervalued, which is why they don't come back. It's a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity. It's not just 70% of your customers that you need to add value to and let them know that you really do value their business and that you care about them as a person. But 70% of your competitors' customers. I like them. That's your market. Because if you've got your customers feeling valued and you can punch that number up, so 70% feel valued, not undervalued, they'll be talking about the experience they had with your business, and that will filter through to your competitors' clients, and then you'll see the shift. Okay? And it's just little things like diarising stuff that's coming up. If you know something's coming up for a client, kid's graduation, a birthday, whatever, a new car purchase, make a note of it somebody so that when the event occurs, you can just touch base with them, just let them know that, congratulations, how'd it go for you? And it's not about selling. None of these strategies, none of these tactics are about salesy selling, upsell, cross-sell, side sell, none of that stuff. It's simply about showing value, showing you care, solving the problem in a way that makes you stand out from your competitors. Okay? You do that, and the sales will come. Right? It's just the way it is. And this is what people don't buy goods and services. I'll bring another quote up later about that. Along these lines, what they want is they want the magic of the to you. They want the reason to enjoy the interaction. You provide that, and you are happy. And that's an important thing. And this little note there on the screen, handwritten card. I'll talk a bit about this later. Nobody does that. Really, purely an actual physically ink on paper handwritten in a stamp, in an envelope with a stamp on it. You want to be different. Little touches, just a little touches. Okay, small bits like there's a lot of, there's a couple of times to do this. There's a lot who do it, some of them are ours, where they provide a simple branded biscuit. Now, I think the cost of the biscuit is 25 cents. And other people pick it up for 75 cents. It's a minimal cost for them, but it's just a way of being different, reminding people, hey, you care. Okay? It's just a personal touch. Very simple, very loyal customers, give them access to new, talk about that later as well, but it's simple things like that, okay, important. We're talking about customer education, and product knowledge is pain. Okay? And if you've got the power, okay, in this relationship, why wouldn't you share it? Not really. If you're sharing product knowledge with customers, you're showing them that you value them and that you trust them. Now, people do business with people they trust. So you're sharing that, you're bringing them into the tribe because people want to belong to you. So you're trusting them, you're bringing them into the tribe, you're being inclusive, you're showing them that you value them. They're going to come back. Not only are they going to come back, they're going to tell their friends and their business associates about the experience they had with you. Okay. And here's the big thing. This is the bit that counts. Oops. What it does to solve their problem. Okay. It's not just part of the bottom of it. It's how it solves their problem. How do you make their life better? Okay? And don't assume they know all about it, even though they've walked in us specifically for something, no matter what it is, and it sounds very much like they know exactly what they want. Take a second, okay, to actually talk to them about their problem and make sure that your solution is the correct solution that actually solves the problem. Okay? Because you do it right, and you're again demonstrating that you value them. Okay, you do that, and they'll be advocates because they've been treated with respect. You've shown that you valued them, and you haven't assumed anything about them. You've made sure that you're providing the correct solution. I'm talking a bit about that as well, about correcting solutions. Okay, you're going to delight them. I'll tell you, you will delight them. It works. Got the history for that. Now, in terms of that, simple question, we wanted to talk to them about how your solution solves their problem. Make the question simple. Make sure you understand, let them know that you understand. Make sure they know you know that you understand. Your educational material that you're providing, because now in terms of educational material, video is king. By, I mean, you've got video about 17 minutes and then a second place educational bit of bits and pieces. It's that powerful. Use your website, use your YouTube channel, use your LinkedIn profile, use Facebook, use Snapchat. Okay, I'll have it earlier. Want to go down that path. Keep it simple, keep it powerful sales tool. And it's powerful in two ways. One is that if you're keeping it real, people get to see, and really it's not scripted. Okay, they're actually what they're seeing is what they're getting. And for two, you're not selling anything. You're simply giving them some education. I'll give you an example of why that is true. I want many examples. Another client of ours, I was speaking on this very topic actually, because of video education, at a business breakfast about 18 months ago. And this guy polishes floors, like it stands floors for them, okay? For one-man business, you know. And he was very concerned because he's got no, he's an average guy, polishes floors, got no tech experience, no video experience, no nothing, and was quite fearful, you know, in doing any sort of video. And we just said to him, I said, like, mate, just chill. Why don't you do before and after a floor, okay? It doesn't have to be scripted. In fact, don't script it. Don't take what intakes. Just have one crack at it. Of you talking to the camera, talk to your phone basically. Show them the floor before, show them the floor after, tell them what you did, talk about the finish on the floor, and then hang. They keep it to about maybe two tops. A minute's good. 60 seconds is a good length for really quick before and after. And so there you go. That added, he did that. He did about 4 of them, and they ran to about a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes. We went to 6 days a week, 7 days a week. He was just booked out, and then he got a new machine from Italy, a dustless sander. So I just did a video of the sander and actually a little bit at the start saying, here we go, this is what the machine is, it's dustless. And when you think about polishing floors, like that whole sanding, dusting thing's a bit of a drama. He showed it in action, there was no dust, 0 dust. He was booked solid for 6 months. Put on an apprentice, still booked solid for 6 months. Ridiculous. He actually stopped doing video because he simply couldn't handle the workload. Video, keep it real, keep it simple, powerful. And he wasn't selling anything. That's the whole trick. He was just showing people what he did. Just ridiculous. Now, I mentioned this before, solve the problem. Now, it's a fine line between solving the problem and selling the solution. Don't cross it, because nobody likes being salted. Don't get salesy, okay? Just give them the solution that solves it, not just what they require, okay? You're probably going to miss out on some revenue because you haven't cross-sold or upsold. So what? It's about building long-term value. You solve the solution now. If there's a legitimate need that you uncover through this questioning, through trying to figure out exactly what the problem is and making sure they know you understand what the problem is. If there's another legitimate need there, great, solve that problem as well. The marketing guys call that cross-sale. Just solve the problem. Try to avoid the upsell thing. Okay, the whole McDonald's, do you want cake and fries with that? That has its place in fast food, sure. Okay, but the majority of businesses, you solve the problem. If you don't oversell, then they will come back. Well, that's loyalty. And you want to build loyalty, tell them when you can't sell the problem. See if you can find a solution. Put some time into getting back to them with the solution, even if you're not the one providing it. But don't sell them a solution that doesn't work, because that's counterproductive. It's all about long-term value. It's not about the extra $5 or $10 a day. It's about building long-term value in your business. Okay, having clients come back again and again and bring their friends back and bring your competitors clients back. Okay? Don't prejudge. Okay? Talking about breaking habits, I really struggled with this one with a couple of younger staff a few years ago. I tell you, it was a case of I don't care what they look like when they walk in. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care what race they are. I don't care what gender they are. I don't care if they smell or not. I really don't give a rat's. When they walk in the door, stop. Think for a second about where you're at and then listen to what they have to say. Make sure they understand that you understand what their problem is and then solve the problem. Don't prejudge. There are so many examples of salesmen prejudging a blind sales clear out of the order. Just don't make it hard to break people. Yeah, this is one. Okay. Now, I don't know if you know Mary Kay Ash at all. Huge cosmetics business in the state, massive. And this is America, and this is why she's got a huge business. Okay. Just make people feel important because they want to feel important. Everybody wants to feel a little bit special. Good. Indulge them. Make it happen. They will come back. Okay. They will come back, and I will refer to it. All about focus on the customer, valuing the customer, going steps that your competitors don't. Now, follow up. We all know in sales that, yeah, that initial contact, especially if you're cold calling, you've got to follow up. But this follow up, this is post sales follow up because post purchase regret is a real thing. Look it up if you don't understand the concept. It's really a case of you buy something and then 2 days later you're thinking, there's one on sale that I should have had a waited, I would have got that, or there's a newer model coming out. When you provide the solution, just check and make sure that the solution works. Make sure they're satisfied, answer any questions. Nobody really does that. Now, seriously, you would think that, let's talk about some big purchases, okay? You'd think that somebody buying a car would get follow-up after they bought the car. Well, those later to going, okay, how are things, you know, is everything was sorted out, anything legals, anything we will explain. No, I've actually bought 5 cars for myself over the years, and I put 10 clients through this one car dealership here in town. One follow fund here, both purchases, and I've checked with all my referrals. Now, the reason I send my reason I go there is my clients go there is because they get looked after and get really good deals. But I've spoken to the salesman at times and says, mate, you've got to do this follow-ups, and the salesmen don't. So they're actually, I guess I'm rare that I go back. There's a lot of people who don't. I've spoken to a lot of people who deal with this guy. Said, yeah, look, you know, it was not a great experience. It's not really good. So follow up, post purchase, follow up. You want to stand out, you do this. Okay, because I guarantee you. I've mentioned this before in terms of providing a solution. If you don't know the answer, say so. It's easy. Sorry, mate. Our solution won't fix your problem. But let's see if we can find something for you and just go there tomorrow. Okay, it may be that you actually send them to one of your competitors because their product actually doesn't, or you send them off in an entirely different direction. You've made the effort. Just keep in touch with them down the track. Remember, and we'll go back one step. Remember this one? Okay, you can't provide the answer and you send them somewhere else. Follow up and make sure they got fixed up because they will remember that. Okay, adding value to the transaction. Maybe actually cared about them. Follow up. I didn't buy off you. Guess what? They're coming back next time they've got a problem. Now, customer events. Right? No one really gets thanked for buying off somebody. Okay, it's pretty rare. Now, in this scenario, in this strategy, after work events, industry events are king. Particularly a lot of manufacturing guys I deal with, and some of the industrial sales. It's in their case, it's usually a beer and a barbecue rather than my cheese, but that's okay. And they have guest speakers coming, especially with new products coming out. There's a change in the industry, or there's a legislative change, and all they're doing is providing information. Okay, it's not a sales event. I'll say it's not a sales event. Okay, it is providing information on industry stuff. Okay, in terms of fashion, it could be a new line coming out. It could be a new season. It could be for example, you've got Melbourne Cup coming up. So out or 6 weeks out, you do a fashion product, give people an idea. It's available, some ideas of how to mix and match. This is one of the ones where you're going to spend some money. The payoff will be, okay, I've never seen anybody ever has told me that when we've run these things with them and they said, oh, that actually just cost money, that wasn't worth it. Not once. And there's always been sales come afterwards because we didn't go for the sale on the day. Okay. Now, in terms of reminders, SMS.text is king by a mile. Okay. If you want people to engage, send them a text. Facebook Messenger and stuff. That's great. Okay, but text will kill them, and emails are too easy to ignore unless you're going to ring everybody personally. Right? And you can borrow that slide if you like, because that's what it's all about. We love our customers. Now, consistency. Spoke a lot about systems and processes yesterday, and indeed the day before, because systems and processes are key to your business, and you would know this, right? The trick is to identify what works, okay, and then just systemize it so it's an excellent experience every time. And again, with some of my younger staff, it was simply a case of guys when they had a win, okay, and sometimes it's just a small win. It's okay, great. What do we do? Let's just run through the transaction. What do we actually do that worked, that triggered that buying urge, that made the customer have a smile on their face? We'll document. Oh, actually write the bloody thing down. It's not going to take you 10 minutes to write it all down. So, okay, now how can we put this into a nice, easy process that we can follow every time? And we'll sometimes put an hour or two into doing these things, and then over the course of 3 or 4 months, you'll watch the staff learn it and do it again and again and again and again and again. Or get the same result, that excellent experience, that sales event again and again and again. And what you need to do, customers want you in China to be honest. You're winning on both sides of the transaction. You've got happy customers and you've got happy staff. An excellent experience to every customer every time. Now, business is all about the numbers. At the end of the day, you want to be making data-driven decisions, but if you get the numbers, you've got to get the emotions right. Think about how those customers feel when they walk in the door and they walk out the door. How do you want them to feel when they walk out the door? How do they want to feel? Seriously, ask them. Like when you come in here, what do you want? What sort of interaction do you want? What do you want to feel like? How do you want to be through? When you look at the door, how do you want to feel? Simple question. Nobody asks. I have never been asked ever. Anybody I do business with, how do I want to feel when I do business with? I walk out the door. How do I want to feel? Yeah, you get some post-purchase surveys, and I'll get a stack of those from one of our local supermarkets. God bless it. And it's all about, was I satisfied with the staff interaction? Did I like the layout? It's none of this, how did I feel about, did I feel like I was valued? Did I feel like I mattered? No, it doesn't matter. Did I find what I wanted, and was I happy with it? So those sort of surveys are generated for their stocking use, not generated to find out where I'm at. All that feedback. This is what we call it, is that if you want to improve in your business, and to be honest, when you're in business, your improvement processes start the day you start in business. As soon as you open the door, you start improving, you focus on improvements because that's what it's all about. This is customer engagement 101. Listen. Okay, listen, how you can improve your business, how you can improve the service or product that you deliver, how you can improve the interaction, how you can improve the post-sale process, how you can put together group events are good because you get a bit of a mastermind thing going, you know, get some ideas off each other. Surveys are also good, but you want to word the questions correctly. A bit of help with that. We've got some really cool people who develop very good surveys. Now, in terms of online review, your review system, your review system will give you feedback. Make no mistake about it. Don't rely on Google reviews. Okay? They're not the best moderator review going around, and it is very easy to put up fake reviews, and getting rid of fake reviews. Okay. Those fake ones, there's people like Removify, okay, great Australian business who will work through Google's process and get rid of them for you. So keep on top of it. If you've got to monitor them, I prefer using an online review system such as Trustpilot or Yotpo, where they can see the client in the review and you're sticking the questions that you want to know about, rather than just getting some random word salad off somebody. You're actually getting constructive, useful feedback. So answer their questions or just thank them for giving the feedback. If you're getting complaints out of that, then fine, deal with it. Okay, it may be that you can't implement the solutions that they're offering. Let them know. There's no need to get into a 10-year-old argument. Just say, look, that's great. Thank you for the opportunity. At the moment, we can't help with that. It's not much we can do in that area, but we can do it in the future. Build it quietly, and then we'll stop, move on. Now, I mentioned this a little bit before. This is my number one vehicle. Simple. So we live in a very complex world. It is not getting any simpler. Complexity is increasing. The simplicity is valuable. Super valuable. Now, not easy to achieve. Effort, commitment, but it will give you enough. The iPhone is a classic example of a lot of complex interactions, a lot of complex devices in one device that has a beautiful simple interface. When they kicked off, the dominant, everybody was chasing and still are chasing Apple, trying to imitate what they do and trying to do. Okay. Now, they are not the biggest selling phone. Okay, the Apple iOS is not the most used in this world. Because people follow them, they get a premium for their. The whole thing was making it easier for the customer. You need to make it up. Can you get rid of jargon and try to take it out? It's your written material, your little brochures you give people, that is short education material we're talking about. Your videos, are they easy to understand from the customer's viewpoint? Sometimes it's not a case of taking stuff out. Sometimes you need to put stuff in. An example of that is that recently I bought some studio lights here. Obviously, I'm not at home in the studio. I'm actually out in a wonderful office in Brisbane, the Business Station office in Brisbane. Lovely spot, thank you very much. But these studio lights, they came in a nice big box, all pulled to bits and packed down. Putting them all together, they had a little instruction booklet. Seriously, it was 3 diagrams that actually didn't really relate to the part. We had in our hands. Now, my wife and I are not. If you have some tech ability, it's been around for a year or two. It took us 15 minutes to put together 2 studio lights. We spent the first 5 minutes trying to decipher the instructions and relate them back to the gear that we continue to use on the table. That should not be that hard. So look at the material you're providing. Can you make it simpler for the customer? Whether it's taking stuff out, putting stuff in, using smaller words, using lots of small words instead of 3 really big ones. Whatever. Make it easier. And if you're lost for ideas, ask your customers. My goodness me. See what they have to say about making things easy for them. You'll be surprised what they come up with. And then you're showing them that you value them. They will talk about that in the full business for you. Now, this is one I'm guilty of. Very guilty. I never stop talking. Okay. Now, on the problem side, what I do is I love going in and fixing stuff and making it. They're not genuine drive. It is a legitimate excitement that I get when I walk in and want to fix stuff up. I have blown sales out of the water because I just did not know. Seriously, I didn't know when to shut up. I just kept talking people into stuff and talking out of it again. I'd give them all the solutions, fix everything right up, and keep going. And they were just 37-year rule. 30% talk, 70% listen, and that 30% split it. Don't do 30% at the start. Like a bit at the start. Listen to what they've got to say, and give them some feedback so they know you understand where they're at. Okay. 2 years, as my parents said over and over and over again. That's it. That's some open-ended questions. Okay, what's going on? And then make sure that they know that you understand and provide the solution. Now, like I was speaking earlier about reviews, online reviews are super cute because only 4% of Australians will actually complain to your face. And it's and the people who are doing that, they're so far out of their comfort zone, it's not funny. Okay, because confrontational, people hate feeling really sorry. People hate confrontation. The vast majority of people do not want to confront you with anything. They'd rather go back home, sit on the keyboard, bang, 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 boom. It's very impersonal, very safe, and away they go. And they don't come back. That's good. It's a huge opportunity to create a loyal customer base. It's not just the people you're dealing with too, it's the people who read the reviews and see how you respond. And out of that, they will get a feel for how you value the customer and your attitude is towards clients in general. Okay. So what I want to do is provide the solution, right? Listen to what they've got to say and provide, don't justify where you're at. Fix the problem. If you can't, they say. Now, there's no shame in that. If their problem is simply one that can't be fixed, so then move on. Oh, okay. And again, going back when I had some staff in the day, okay, we had a nice little team, and I gave them a bit of power to fix stuff at basically. said, okay, within these parameters, if there's a problem that fits within this, you need to spend X sort of dollars, you need to do this sort of refunds, this sort of products, whatever. It's then that you can play with it. Okay, don't hit me with every problem because I think within here, I've asked you to solve. Complaints actually went down because instead of people saying, oh, I've got to take you to the manager or hand, or go see the boss, or the boss isn't in, you can't do this, you can't do it. They just fixed it. It's almost location, but I'll tell you what, the money I was spending on that was a lot than the cost. Then walking out the door dissatisfied and talking to all the friends about what a hopeless business we are and how we hate our customers, we're never fix anything. That was some of the best money I ever invested in the business, and I had happy staff because they had the opportunity to use their skills to help clients when things were pear shaped, and out of that we can develop on the sales strategy on that series. Memorable. Okay, and this has been the theme all the way through. You want to be memorable, you want to be outstanding, you want to be that the reason that memorable works is not just the fact that it will help us scale at the time, it's the fact they will then go away and talk about it. If you go to a coffee shop and you can get service from staff there, you can tell people that what a good experience we had. If you had bad service, you'll tell your friends, I don't do. You do that, and the chances of going back there are quite, okay, because you had a good experience. Okay, you enjoyed the food, but you were really looked after. So it's simply a case of taking time to understand your customers. What is it? And then it's fixed the problem. What is the best? It's a quick like whatever the flavor is, good luck. Easy. Okay. Long-term customers, strong relationships, digital opportunities, they all flow from this. And I said this before, make sure your customers not only understand you, but they know you've understood them. Right? You've got to make sure that when they're talking to you, they explain their problems, they don't feel like they're simply talking to a person. Give them the feedback so they know that you understand what the problem is. And once they know that you understand what the problem is, then you get to talk about how you fix it. Okay. Easiest way of going customer home. That's it. It's just and yeah. Going back to Seth Godwin said before. So they don't care about your product. Nobody cares about your product. So a purple widget, like who gives a rip? Nobody cares. Is what the purple widget does for them. How does it make their life better? So don't talk about the widget. Talk about that. So how's going to change the world? That's what they're buying. So too many people get hung up on, you know, it tends to be stuff. You get all the shiny toy is. I bought a machine the other day. This salesman, seriously, like I didn't buy here because he was just going on and on and on. This U-Boot machine. I'm thinking, mate, what I want is a coffee machine that produces good coffee. It's easy to use. Despite the fact that I have a coffee business and I know how to make coffee, everybody just and most people so finished and stop. There's a little dancing penguin. He's playing baby humor. Really build your business, build relationship. What's the perspective? You ask any of my friends, anybody I did business with, some just this place. I did business with people. So, even if anyone's coming, let's see unless it gets us into that conversation mode, we start looking at what the problem is. So you want to stand out, you talk a little bit about a human workplace. Okay, you want to be the penguin. Explain the secrets. What we thought about it, about share what you want to stand out. You want people to be included, be trusted. You're the reason they should be doing business. Why should be doing business with you? It's all about knowledge. It's inclusive, it's powerful. It's why you invest what you do. Okay? People share those stories. People sharing stories So more people know about you, they know about the sort of service you provide. Business. I mentioned this before, very clear that evidence with Viewpoint. It's the industry. If you give your value customers that, and you make it a VIP, it's for big items, then you're creating so give them first access, right? It's industry. I keep telling you this, it's not a sales thing, it's information. First access, make it informational, the sales will come. They'll feel valued. The way you answer that, this is a bit old-fashioned because not a lot of people make first contacts real fun. A lot of the times I hit an IVR and I'll be directed here or directed then push this button, push that. It's with a person. When a person picks up the phone, make it this is one thing again we taught our staff is that if somebody rings, don't answer on the first ring. In those two rings, what you're going to do is you're going to look away from the computer, you're going to pause, you're going to smile, and then you pick the phone and you're enthusiastic and have something a little bit different. Especially in small micro business, it's not have to be corporate. Make this contact and make it enjoyable rather than just another cold you're talking about the fridge approach to. That's again something I touched on earlier. World's impersonal. It's all text, it's all email, it's all video in a way, it's a little bit impersonal. You want to get in touch with clients in terms of remembering this as handwritten notes. Sure, nobody gets stuff in the mail these days other than bills and speeding fines. You get a handwritten note from somebody you've done business with, somebody you bought off them, and they just send out saying thanks for the business. Really important to see you again soon. That little investment will pay off. You know what it's the ROI that kills her. Because you're building relationships, you are scanning it from the crowd. You get a smile on your face. You want them to come back, and they'll remember that. And I'll talk to the friends about, oh, that's believe this, and who does that? And then this is another way we can. It doesn't apply to this. Okay? This is not one size fits all series of strategies. Okay, it's a case of with what you do, who do you know who fix problems that you can't fix? Okay, you don't. It's just trying to count. I would look like book with a couple of things in each category. We have management. We get quoted. I get feedback for any dramas. I get feedback after the sort, and it's vice versa. They send people to me to fix their problems, and if there's a drama, so the person who is sending the client to me gets a heads up before anything goes sideways, and business goes on. Okay, and that way my clients get looked after, and they value my service because where I couldn't fix the problem, I gave them a solution, which is be genuine. See here today, this is what you get. Okay, it doesn't matter whether we're doing it now, face to face, or at a business lunch. I'm always myself. I don't have a business face. I don't have a face thing. It's not what I do. Because I can repeat this time and again. I don't have to remember what I'm going to do. It's no script. It's no genuine. It's what business. You just keep it running. They're the people the way you want to be dealt with. It's how you deal with your family and your friends. This silly personality is there's too many places out there too scared to do anything in fear of maybe offending somebody or box. Now, don't compromise yourself. Your products and services are worth what you're charging. Even if you're charging more than your competitors, they're still worth it. Explain why cheap has a price. Okay, sometimes you buy cheap, that's cool. You're going to buy two of them this first one. Okay. If you've got anecdotes to back that up. If you go down that whole price life, you commoditize yourself, You're not going to chase it to a customer and business value. So don't be afraid, stand your ground and explain why your product is worth what it's using. Without your customer reviewing the information. And one way of doing that is by rewarding. If you're in field sales and you've got a kind of complete, don't discount. It's a better approach. Loyalty is a really big deal as well. You've been in a coffee business and it actually built our business without me having to give away too much at all. And certainly by getting cash flow all the way through up to triggering the reward, again, good way to do business. Now, not to that anything we've spoken about today is simple. It is simple, it's not necessarily easy. But you just need to have focus, right? And the biggest habit to change, this is the one it's deciding what your brand is. Okay, what is it that you deliver? What are we known for? How are you going to make them? Why are people going to remember you? When you make that focus of everything you do, you make it a focus of your marketing, you make it a focus of your performance management, you make it a focus of your reward scheme for your staff. And you get another way you stand out in the industry. You're good at what you do, or you wouldn't be there. You've got a genuine solution, or you wouldn't be there. Make your website, go to website. Do some research, build industry tips in there. Don't be afraid to share your information with your customers so they can make informed decisions. You do that, you're sharing your expertise, you're building trust, and people will come back. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there as being somebody who really knows their stuff. And you're not afraid to share it. And wherever you go. And saying that here before, humour inside the office is in. If you've got a team of one, studies are the same. If you've got a happy, positive workplace, you have greater productivity. Well, people are not afraid of making mistakes, and in fact, they will make all these mistakes because they're happy about what they're doing. They will fix problems on most people are about stuff. They fix small to medium-sized problems. They don't sandbox the plan. You look at that stuff. Even internal reviews, I just sorted it out. And I found out 2 months later they fixed all this stuff I knew nothing about because it was never a problem because they well, I had to do so. Okay. I made better decisions, which funnily enough, you had less mistakes, you had less complaints, which made more difference. I was simpler often, so we were more productive. Typically faster, so there was less mistake. It is this self-perpetuating little beast that makes your business run that much better. Okay? Provide happiness. Let this humor into it, and you will watch the pain. Now, here's my contact details. Thank you very much for sitting here. Really appreciate it. Any specific questions you've got, fire away now. If you'd like, get in touch with me on the phone or on the email, and I'll get straight back to you. As always, thanks very much to Business Station and ASBAS for delivering this wonderful content. And if you're interested in insurance systems to boost your cash flow without spending a dime, over the next few days, past 11, and I'll run through some strategies on basically measuring your cash flow drivers and how to